Oh, I love the way that Goli Baje is a perfect round. It's getting that lovely golden sort of a sheen to it. They say this is the gold of Mangalore, Goli Baje. Mangalore the chinna idu. That Goli Baje has a delicate, slightly crunchy skin, and on the inside it's both fluffy and stretchy in terms of its texture.
Banana podi.
Oh, bidta idira? Okay. Oh, the banana podi. That batter was crunch, crunch, crunch. Happiness here in Mangalore at 6 p.m. Hi folks, this is Kripalamana Gourmet on the road and you're watching Food Lovers TV. We are in Mangalore and today I've set out to complete some unfinished business. So the last time I was here in Mangalore, I visited Hotel Woodlands and I tasted 2 or 3 of the snacks, but I left without tasting the Goli Baje. So it so happens that I visited Hotel Woodlands in the morning and these snacks are available only in the evening. So it's about 4:30 in the evening. So let's go to Woodlands and taste the bhaji, the Goli Baje. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸದಾನಂದ್. ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಗೋಲಿ ಬಜೆ ಬೇಕಾ? ಬನಾನಾ ಪೋಡಿ.
ಗೋಲಿ ಬಜೆಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇನೆ ನಾನು.
ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ದೋಸೆ.
ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ದೋಸೆ ಏನಿದೆ?
एक दिन स्पेशल डोसा, एक दिन टमाटर प्लेट देता है.
Alternate days we are changing.
Okay, what is your name, sir?
Suresh Bhat.
Suresh Bhat. So you are the one.
No, not. I am not on the one.
Okay.
Others also there.
Okay, so you are part of the owning family.
One of them.
Okay, nice.
अभी लेके आओ.
ಒಳಗೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದಾ?
ಆಯ್ ಓಕೆ.
Nice to meet you. I'm happy to meet Sadanand Shetty. Last time ಇವರೇ ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ನನಗೆ. Super Goli Baje. Fantastic. Namaskara. Sir, what makes your Goli Baje so special, sir?
That's the top secret.
That's a top secret. ಅದು ಫರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಇಡ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್?
It takes 2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours. ಸೊ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹುಳಿ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹುಳಿ ಬರಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಗೋಳಿ ಬಜ್ಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಸರು ಹಾಕ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್? ಸೊ ಮೈದಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಅವರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಉದ್ದಿನ ಬೇಳೆ ಸಹ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಉದ್ದಿನ ಹಿಟ್ಟು ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ? ಅದು ಸಹ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಲೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ. ಚಿಲ್ಲೀಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ? ಜಿಂಜರ್, ಜೀರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ? ಅದು ಕರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಪುಟ್ ದಟ್ ಕರ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಳಿ ಇರಬಾರ್ದಲ್ಲ? ಇರಬಾರ್ದು, ಇಲ್ಲರೆ ಹುಳಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೋಳಿ ಬಜ್ಜಿ ಕೂಡ. I like the way the moment he puts it in, it immediately bobs back up. I like the way he's gently frying, huh?
Yeah.
Ekdam delicately handle ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ.
Color also important.
ಚಿನ್ನದ ಕಲರ್, ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಕಲರ್. They say this is the gold of Mangalore, Goli Baje. ಮಂಗಳೂರುದು ಚಿನ್ನ ಇದು. Oh, I love the way that Goli Baje is a perfect round. It's getting that lovely golden sort of a sheen to it. ನಿಮಗೆ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಇಂದ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ ಸರ್ ಅದು ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ? ಹೊಯ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ. ನಿಮ್ದು ಹೆಸರೇನು ಸರ್? ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಕಾರಂತ್. ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಕಾರಂತ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಗೋಳಿ ಬಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? 25 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ. ಈಸ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದ ಗೋಳಿ ಬಜ್ಜಿ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 25 years. ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಕಲರ್ ನೋಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಬೀಳಿಸುವಾಗ ಅದು ಹೊಯ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದ ತರ ಬರ ಶಬ್ದ ಬರಬೇಕು. ವಿಚ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ವುಡ್ ಪೋರ್ ಸಮ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಆ ತರ ಶಬ್ದ ಬರಬೇಕು, ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಗೋಳಿ ಬಜ್ಜಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ವೈ ಹಿ ಕೀಪ್ಸ್ ಲೇಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಗೋಳಿ ಬಜ್ಜಿ ಜೆಂಟ್ಲಿ. ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ದೋಸೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಸರ್? ಗ್ರೀನ್
ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್
ಮಿಕ್ಸರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್.
ಉದ್ದು ಮೈದಾ, ಹಿಂಗು.
ಉದ್ದು ಮೈದಾ ಹಿಂಗು ಸಹ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ?
ಕೊರಿಯಾಂಡರ್, ಚಿಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಜಿಂಜರ್ ಟೀ.
ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ದೋಸೆ, ಇದು ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ದೋಸೆ.
ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ದೋಸೆ.
whenever you come here, so you will either find the tomato omelette or the special dosa. That Goli Baje though only in the evening, and you have to come till stocks last.
Yeah.
3:30 ke start agate, by 2 hours it's over. Goli Baje try madana, it's a try madana. So who began Hotel Woodlands, sir?
Started to my father at Hotel.
And what is your father's name, sir?
Janardhan.
Mr. Vasudev Bhat and Mr. Janardhan Bhat started this. So which year was this, sir?
1960.
All right. It must be quite something to maintain that legacy, Allah. To preserve something which is decades old is always more difficult than doing something new. Because it's very easy to let go of tradition. But to maintain it, bada kashta ide.
Banana podi.
Oh, birta idira? Okay. Oh, the next dish, the banana podi. ಓ ಡಬಲ್ ಫ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಅದರಿಂದ ಗರಿ ಗರಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಸಿ ಬಿಸಿ ಬನಾನಾ ಪುಡಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸದಾನಂದ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಕಸ್ಟಮರಿಗೆ. So I'm with Mr. Ravi Bhat, his older brother. The last time I tasted your coffee, excellent. Excellent in terms of the blend, the roasting, that mouth feel. So I was that aroma. So it had that nice caramel sort of a mouthfeel to it, very rich. Adu coffee nalige tagidre, you will remember it for 1 hour after that even. So what makes your coffee so special, sir?
That is Panduranga coffee.
Oh, Panduranga coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, grand aroma, huh? Ah, so this turns out to be the Panduranga coffee that we have visited in Chikmagalur.
Past 25-30 years we are using only one brand.
Grand aroma. That is a 80-20 blend, Allah?
Yes.
It's a small world. I've been to Panduranga and I learned that they use the same coffee. And I love the coffee that I tasted here.
That is direct from factory.
Direct
I am
from-
not purchasing here also.
Okay, directly. So you make sure that the coffee is good.
Yeah.
And I think the coffee in places like this is so important. New Goli Baje tintira, banana podi tintira. Last ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಫಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ ಬಾಯಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಫಿ ಹಾಕುವಾಗ that should give you that trupti, that should give you that satisfaction. They say you remember what happens to you first and last, correct? So avaga when you leave Hotel Woodlands, you leave with that flavor of that coffee lingering in your mouth for at least an hour after you've left the place.
That is tea.
That is tea, okay.
Chai very famous.
Chas are famous, sir. I think after speaking to the Bhat brothers, after watching that Goli Baje being made, that Vale Podi being made, and also that coffee, I think it's time to go to the dining room and savor some tindi here at Hotel Woodlands. I like the old vibe charm of this place. It's like you're stepping into yesteryear. Busy Goli Baje ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು ಪೊಡಿ. Well, we've got the dishes that we've come here for, more specifically that Goli Baje. The moment you touch that Goli Baje, your slightest touch leaves behind an indentation on that Goli Baje. The moment you remove your finger, it quickly springs back to its original round form. So this Goli Baje feels rather fragile to the touch. That Goli Baje has a delicate, slightly crunchy skin, and on the inside it's both fluffy and stretchy in terms of its texture. I can taste some cumin in there. That's a textbook Goli Baje. You can see the near translucence of that skin on the outside, which is the sort that yields to your bite with a whisper of a crunch, and on the inside it is spongy and airy. And you can taste the flavor of the cumin gently waft through your palate. Slight tinge of sourness that you taste. So what they do is they prepare the batter with the maida, with the udina bele. There is yogurt or buttermilk that goes into it. Of course, along with the jeerige, some green chilies, a few other things that go into it. And then they allow that batter to rest for about 2 or 3 hours, just so that it develops a
a tinge of sourness, and that's when that Goli Baje hittu is ready to be placed in tiny dollop sizes into that sizzling hot oil. And also the manner in which they fry that Goli Baje, there's a certain art to it, as we saw the cook there who's been doing it for the last 25 years. He waits for the Goli Baje to bob to the surface and then he gently rolls it, and when he sees the color and hears the sound of sand being poured, that's when he knows that the Goli Baje are ready. Gonna go for some of that chutney now, that Thai chutney. The chutney is nothing but coconut. Tinge of sourness, perhaps some tamarind that goes into it, some green chilies as well, some sasve for the ogarne. That makes for a great combination to that Goli Baje. Also some green chili that I'm spotting in the Goli Baje. So basically there's some green chili that goes in. There's plenty of green chili actually in this particular Baje. There's also curry leaf that goes into it. So the seasoning that you will find in the Goli Baje is rather muted, except for when you will bite into some chili. So you'll suddenly get that spike of spiciness. But otherwise the flavoring, the spicing is a sort that gently wafts in your mouth. Idu kara hai there. I want to burden that Goli Baje with all that chutney, with that Thai chutney. You get 4 Goli Baje to a plate, but they are the sort that go down rather quickly, especially when they come hot off the kadai. I love the rich coconutty, slightly spicy bite of the chutney. Sir, nange so much chutney se boda. Oh, ide. I forgot I have some chutney in that balehannu podi. If you come to Hotel Woodlands, you have to have the Goli Baje, which means you have to come in the evening. Unless you want to make a trip in the morning and also in the evening. I also love the texture of a Goli Baje. So you've got that slightly translucent, slightly crispened outer layer, and on the inside it's soft, spongy, and also a bit stretchy. And I think that happens because they allow that Goli Baje to rest for about 2-3 hours. Let's go next to that balehannu podi. This is made with the Nendra banana. So this is ripe banana that is dipped in a batter and then deep fried. It's sweet and sour. The ripe sweetness of the banana has concentrated as it is exposed to that heat when it's deep fried, and so also the sourness. Initially when I saw it first in the tray, I thought it was a raw balekai podi, but they said no, this is a ripe banana podi. The batter provides that podi a slight savory sort of crunch. I think there's also some oma, some carom seeds in that batter. That batter was crunch, crunch, crunch. The banana is absolutely mushy, creamy in its texture. All that you register on the bite is the crunch of the batter as you sink your teeth through it into that soft, creamy, ripe banana slice. I love the flavor of the banana that's doing the rounds of my mouth. The aroma, the flavor, the sweetness, the slight tinge of sourness. Let's now introduce it to the chutney. And now you're tasting, initially, the spicy coconut heat of the chutney, but that quickly disappears before you go back to tasting that sweet, ripened acidity of the banana. That's our special dosae, served with a chutney of course and some sambar. I think there's some pumpkin or some sautekai in this sambar. I can taste the bele and also the kai, along with a bit of sweet acidity that comes from the tomato. This is a dosa that's rather soft on one side and crispy on the other. It's also a dosa that is thick in certain parts and translucent and thin in others. There's a fair bit of greens that it's speckled with. I think there's some green chili in there. I think also some curry leaves. And this dosa is a combination of the uddina bele and some maida. That explains for the texture, that soft texture of that dosa. That dosa is soft and crispy at the same time. It's quite an unusual sort of a dosa. It's not your typical plain dosa, rave dosa, masala dosa, set dosa. I think because of the fact that there's the maida that goes in along with the uddina bele, the texture is also rather different. So it's soft and slightly pasty because of the maida, and then it's got that slight crispness as well. And the parts where it's crispened and brown, there's also a bit of bitterness that you taste from the burnt edges. This is also a dosa that isn't fermented for too long, so therefore you don't have that sour tinge. I think there's some bay soppu here, some curry leaf. I think enough tasting the dosa on its own. Time to add some spice to it with that chutney. That chutney is A1. Whatever you taste it with, whether it's the Goli Baje or the Balehannu Podi or this dosa, that chutney provides excellent partnership. Some more green chili that I'm tasting now from the dosa, and I can definitely feel it on my throat. I think next let's taste the dosa with the sambar. It's a rather tasty sambar as well. So the dosa is a sort, I've realized as I've tasted it, that makes for a tasty bite in partnership with something, whether it's the chutney or the sambar. Sweet ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ನೀವು? ಕುಂಬಳಕಾಯಿದ ಹಲ್ವಾ, ಕಾಶಿ ಹಲ್ವಾ. ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಇದೆ ಸರ್? ಕೇಸರಿ ಬಾತ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಇದು ಒಳ್ಳೇದಿದೆ, ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಇದೆ, ತನ್ನಿ. The dosa is more like a neutral canvas, and you need to paint it with the flavors of that kai chutney or sambar. I want to soak that dosa in the sambar. The dosa is also quite spongy in its texture, so it makes for a great medium to absorb the flavors of the sambar. Place it in your mouth, burdened with the weight of that sambar. That dosa simply dissolves away. Happiness here in Mangalore at 6 p.m. Special Kashi Halwa. So this is basically made with the ash gourd. I think they also call it the Buddha Kumlekai. That Buddha Kumlekai is grated and then cooked with sugar and loads of tuppa, loads of ghee, to an extent where that kumlekai now becomes translucent and moist with all the tuppa. I can also taste some cardamom in there. And every once in a while, you also bite into the cloying sweetness of some raisins. Oh, that is delicious. So it is sweet, no doubt, but there's also a slight sourness to that sweetness, if that makes sense to you. So it's like a jalebi, right? When you taste a jalebi, you will taste the sweetness in the jalebi, and then towards the end there's also a bit of sourness, a bit of khattapan. That's really what you're tasting in this Kashi Halwa too. So it burdens your palate with all that sugar, with all that tuppa, and then towards the end there's that slight sour edge. And the flavor of the cardamom. Gama gama parimala barta hai cardamom idu bainalli. And as you bite into some of that raisin, that drakshe, there's that pop of unbridled sweetness, slightly caramelized as well. So you've got that jammy caramel sort of sweetness of that raisin as it's cooked, as it is subjected to the heat of that tuppa, sugar and kumlakai mix. Sir, only coffee, strong, sakre kami. Super itte. Very nice. Very thank you. Recommendation here. Always listen to what your servers have to tell you. If he recommends something and he serves it to you and you don't like it, he is the one who has to face you. So he'll obviously recommend you only things that will make you happy and also ensure that you leave making him happy too. Some coffee to wind up our Hotel Woodlands evening tiffin experience. Superb coffee. As I learned from the senior Mr. Bhat here, the coffee is procured from Panduranga Coffee in Chikmagalur. So, in fact, we have an episode, a vlog on the second channel on Panduranga Coffee, where I met the brothers behind this very old coffee house in Chikmagalur. So, if you haven't caught that episode yet, I'm going to place a link here and also in the description below. I think this is their Grand Aroma blend, which is a 80-20, 80 coffee, 20 chicory. So it's got that sort of mouthfeel that you can bite into, and also has a certain caramel sort of note to the coffee. So I'm happy that I was able to attend to my unfinished business here at Woodlands Hotel, tasting the Goli Baje and that Balehannu Podi, and that Kashi Halwa too came as a rather pleasant surprise. I hope you've enjoyed this episode too, watching the making of that Goli Baje and also my conversation with the Bhat brothers and what it takes to keep this iconic Mangaluru institution going for the last 6 decades. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong and happy eating. There's also that soft crunch of the cashew that I forgot to share with you. And drinking. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on a Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating!